This phase consists of the aerobic phase of the respiratory pathway, which means oxygen is consumed as a substrate. This is taking place in any organism which is respiring aerobically. The pyruvate produced from glucose by means of glycolysis is first converted into acetyl coenzyme A. Then it is again broken down and for the generation of NADH plus H plus and also FADH2. These two nucleotides enter the electron transport chain to generate ATP. The advantage is that maximum number of ATP is generated from every molecule of glucose. Another fact is that the products of fatty acid breakdown and also proteins breakdown, all these products or we say byproducts enter into the aerobic respiratory pathway in some of these phases. The end products of the aerobic pathway are carbon dioxide and water. The carbon dioxide is released from the carboxylic group of the substrate by means of decarboxylation, while the water is formed when the oxygen we are consuming combines with hydrogen at the end of the aerobic respiratory pathway. This water is called metabolic water, and many organisms surviving in the desert depending upon this metabolic water for their survival. Respiratory breakdown of a substrate leading to the generation of ATP may be divided into three stages for the convenience of study. As you see here, stage 1 for the production of acetyl coenzyme A, and stage 2 for the oxidation of acetyl coenzyme A, and stage 3 electron transport and oxidative phosphorylation for the generation of ATP. Of these, we are going to study stage 2 and stage 3 in this unit. We have already studied the conversion of glucose into pyruvate, that means stage 1, in the previous unit. How the pyruvate is going to be converted into acetyl coenzyme A, we are going to study shortly. And the other two reactions or reaction series of stage 1, generation of acetyl coenzyme A from fatty acids and amino acids. These two topics are there in your syllabus in the 4th semester. Where do these reactions take place? Once the glucose enters the cell from the blood circulation, etc., it is broken down into pyruvate by means of glycolysis in the cytoplasm of every organisms. And if there is aerobic conditions in the cell, then those pyruvate molecules are transported into the mitochondrion. Of course, in the case of eukaryotic cells, for the prokaryotes, all the reactions take place in the cytoplasm only. And inside the mitochondrion, this pyruvate is first converted into acetyl coenzyme A, then it enters into citric acid cycle, then the products of citric acid cycle enters into electron transport chain. That means once the pyruvate is produced, all the remaining reactions of the aerobic pathway take place inside the mitochondrion. And carbon dioxide is generated inside the mitochondrion, and so is water. And what about the oxygen we are consuming during breathing? That oxygen is going to the mitochondrion for the generation of water. Pyruvate enters the mitochondrion, and during its conversion into acetyl coenzyme A, carbon dioxide is produced. You can see that the carboxylic group at the end of the pyruvate is released as the carbon dioxide. And also note down there is a transport proteins for the movement of pyruvate from the cytosol into the matrix of the mitochondria. Also, one molecule of NAD plus is converted into NADH plus H plus This NADH is later going to be used for the generation of ATP, and coenzyme A is added. So the acetyl coenzyme A is produced as a result of three reactions. Those three reactions are marked there as 1, 2 and 3. In this slide, you can see a scanning electron micrograph of a mitochondrial fraction of the cell. On the left side, you can see the actual image. You can see the large yellow circles. They are the mitochondria. The outer yellow drawing is the outer membrane, while the inner one is the inner membrane. Surrounding the mitochondria are the other cell organelles such as endoplasmic reticulum. On the right side, the same figure is drawn. If you draw such a figure, how will it look like? That is what you see on the right side. And in the lower right corner, the mitochondrion is drawn. You can see the matrix, the cristae, the inner membrane, the outer membrane, etc. from that drawing. Conversion of pyruvate into acetyl coenzyme A is catalyzed by a complex, pyruvate dehydrogenase complex. We say it's a complex because it consists of three enzymes. You can see there E1, E2 and E3. So the complex consists of three enzymes. Not only that, how many coenzymes are there? You see, coenzyme A is there, NAD plus, TPP, lipoate and FAD. There are 5 coenzymes participating in that complex. Of course, acetyl coenzyme A and carbon dioxide are produced. Note down the source of the carbon dioxide in the pyruvate. This is the structure of coenzyme A. What's coenzyme A? It is the carrier of acetyl group in our topic. The coenzyme A consists of adenine, you can see at the right corner, then ribose and 2 phosphate units. Actually, the ribose is carrying a phosphate group on carbon number 3. So ribose 3 phosphate plus 2 phosphate groups, or better we say a pyrophosphate on carbon number 5. So this is this contains a nucleotide. And then there is the pantothenic acid, which is shaded say pink, and then there is a beta mercaptoethylamine, which is carrying the SH group. You need not study this structure by heart, but you should know that it's a nucleotide, or it contains a nucleotide, and at the end there is an SH group. This SH group is actually the reactive thiol group in this chemical compound. It is carrying acetyl group or any other hydrocarbon group on this SH group.
As you are aware, pyruvate, which is the end product of glycolysis, is converted into acetyl coenzyme A in the mitochondrial matrix. The reaction is being catalyzed by a complex enzyme, pyruvate dehydrogenase complex. This complex actually consists of 3 enzymes. The enzyme 1 is pyruvate dehydrogenase itself, and enzyme 2 is dihydrolipoyl transacetylase, and the enzyme 3 is dihydrolipoyl dehydrogenase. Remember, these enzymes have their own cofactors as well. Where is the enzyme complex present? In the mitochondrial matrix. As you have seen earlier, the pyruvate is formed in the cytoplasm and it is transported across the mitochondrial membranes into the mitochondrial matrix, where this reaction is taking place. And the product is acetyl coenzyme A. This is the raw material for citric acid cycle.
What you see here is a summary of citric acid cycle. We call it citric acid cycle because citric acid is the first stable intermediate product of this pathway. It's also called tricarboxylic acid cycle because some of the intermediates are actually tricarboxylic acids, which means they carry three carboxylic group. You can see here citric acid, etc. It's also called a Krebs cycle because of the scientist who discovered it for the first time. And how many stages are there in this pathway? You number there 1, 2, 3. You can see at the end there are 8 stages in this pathway. It is beginning with acetyl coenzyme A combining with the oxaloacetate. Then citrate is produced, and going on at the end oxaloacetate is regenerated. That's why we call it a cycle. And what are the products of the pathway? You can see NADH molecules, how many of them are produced? And FADH2, how many? ATP, how many? And carbon dioxide. So these are the products of this pathway. Remember, ATP is produced only once. The remaining ATP molecules are to be produced from the electron transport chain, utilizing the FADH2 and the NADH2 produced here.
This citric acid cycle, as you may be aware, is nearly a universal central catabolic pathway. Here, the smaller compounds derived from the breakdown of carbohydrates, fats, proteins, etc., are oxidized to carbon dioxide. And most of the energy of this oxidation is actually trapped into FADH2 and NADH. Later, this FADH2 and NADH are used for the generation of ATP because hydrogen atoms from this FADH2 and NADH are transferred to oxygen. In this process, ATP is generated, and you know that when hydrogen combines with oxygen, water is produced. So water is a byproduct of this pathway, and there are many animals which are living, especially in the dry conditions in the desert, etc., which are depending upon this metabolic water for their livelihood. So this is a central pathway in which carbon dioxide also is released. This citric acid cycle actually begins with the condensation of acetyl coenzyme A with oxaloacetate to form citrate. You know that acetyl coenzyme A is formed inside the mitochondrial matrix. Talking about the eukaryotes, inside the mitochondrial matrix from pyruvate. You know that pyruvate is the end product of glycolysis. This acetyl coenzyme A is combining with oxaloacetate forming citrate. Acetyl coenzyme A is carrying 2 carbon atoms. Oxaloacetate contains 4 carbon atoms. Therefore, 4 plus 2 is equal to 6. The product citrate consists of 6 carbon atoms. What's the name of the enzyme? Citrate synthase. Look here at the bottom of the slide, delta G0 dash, standard free energy change of this reaction is minus 32.2 kilojoule per mole. This means this reaction is spontaneous. When the standard free energy change has a negative sign, it means the reaction is spontaneous in the nature. During the next reaction, citrate is undergoing an isomerization reaction forming isocitrate. What type of reaction it is? Look at the position of the shaded OH group and H. You see the position of the shaded OH group and H is interchanged. The new product is isocitrate. What is actually happening? The H and OH together are eliminated as a water molecule in the first reaction. Then they are added back as a water molecule in the second reaction. And what happens is the interchange of hydrogen and OH group on the carbons. The intermediate product is cis-aconitate. What's the name of the enzyme? It is aconitase. Can you identify the textbook from which this picture is taken? You see it's given here number 2, and you may be able to identify the name of the textbook from which this figure is taken. That's a very good textbook. You should refer that textbook for your notes and all. In the next reaction, isocitrate formed in the previous reaction is oxidized to alpha ketoglutarate. Look at isocitrate. How many carbons are there? There are 6 carbons. It is reacting with NAD, and what is released is NADH plus H plus. And in this picture, in this slide, you may see NADP plus is reacting. That is not the case all the time. In many cases, NAD plus is reacting, while in some other cases, NADP is also reacting. It's better if you write NAD plus during your examination and all. The enzyme is isocitrate dehydrogenase. Why dehydrogenase? Because hydrogen atoms are removed. The hydrogen carrier is NAD, and that NAD is actually the coenzyme for the enzyme. And another reaction taking place here is decarboxylation. Decarboxylation is removal of carbon dioxide. A carboxyl group is removed as carbon dioxide. In the first part of the figure, you can see a shaded carboxyl group, shaded in blue color, and that carboxyl group is eliminated as carbon dioxide. And we have alpha ketoglutarate. How many carbons are there in alpha ketoglutarate? You can count and tell me. It is actually 1 carbon less compared with the isocitrate. And you might have understood how is it taking place. Now, this alpha ketoglutarate is converted into succinyl coenzyme A. What is happening? Many things are there. Point 1, a carboxyl group is released as carbon dioxide. So this is a decarboxylation reaction. So alpha ketoglutarate consists of 5 carbon atoms, while succinyl coenzyme A contains only 4 carbon atoms because the remaining carbon is released as carbon dioxide. Secondly, this is an oxidation reaction. Why oxidation? 2 hydrogen atoms are transferred to NAD plus, forming NADH plus H plus. So this is an oxidative decarboxylation reaction. Point 3, a coenzyme A is added there, so that what is produced is succinyl coenzyme A. Then succinyl coenzyme A is converted into succinate. Actually, here a molecule of ATP is produced, but you cannot see it in the picture. Why? The enzyme acting is succinyl-CoA synthetase. What is produced is succinate. In that process, a GDP is combining with inorganic phosphate, forming GTP. But later, this GTP is transformed into ATP. So in reality, practically, what we get is 1 molecule of ATP. So this is a precious step in which energy is harnessed into ATP molecule.
Note down the reaction of succinate dehydrogenase. There are a few things you should remember. Point 1, This is the only stage in the metabolic pathway you are studying in which FAD is the coenzyme rather than NAD. Here the hydrogen carrier is FAD. And the resulting FADH2 directly enters into the electron transport chain. Point 2. The enzyme succinate dehydrogenase is bound to the inner membrane of the mitochondria. All the other reactions of the citric acid cycle take place in the matrix of the mitochondrion, while this reaction takes place on the inner membrane of the mitochondrion. And point 3, this enzyme succinate dehydrogenase is a partner of the electron transport chain. We call it complex 2. We will study when we come to that topic. Remember succinate dehydrogenase.
Hydration of fumarate to malate. This is a reversible reaction. What is hydration? Hydration is the addition of water. Fumarate is transformed into malate, and what is the name of the enzyme? It is called fumarase. Here malate is converted into oxaloacetate. An important feature is that this is another reaction in which hydrogen atoms removed from the substrate are trapped into NAD plus, forming NADH plus H plus. So this NADH plus H plus also can be used for the formation of ATP in the electron transport chain. Since this is a dehydrogenation reaction, the enzyme is a dehydrogenase, malate dehydrogenase. Malate dehydrogenase is the name of the enzyme. Here you can see a summary of the citric acid cycle. How many stages are there in which carbon dioxide is released? There are 2 stages in citric acid cycle in which carbon dioxide is released. What is entering citric acid cycle? Acetyl coenzyme A 2 carbon product. A 2 carbon product of the link reaction is entering into citric acid cycle, and of course 2 carbons are leaving the pathway. So that ultimately the 4 carbon oxaloacetate which is consumed in the pathway is regenerated. This is the importance of a cyclic pathway. And how many points are there in which reducing equivalents are produced? You see, there are 3 points where NADH plus H plus is generated. There is 1 point in which FADH2 is generated. Remember, this NADH plus H plus and FADH2 are both used during the electron transport chain for the generation of ATP. Also, there is a step here in which 1 molecule of ATP is produced. This process is actually direct phosphorylation. In this slide, you can see the summary of ATP generation starting with 1 molecule of glucose. On the left side, you can see the various substrate molecules. In the middle, you can see the number of ATP or NADH, whatever it is. On the right hand side, you can see the number of ATP. Here actually, from 1 molecule of glucose, how many FADH2 are produced? In one citric acid cycle, 1 FADH2 is produced. But you know that 1 molecule of glucose generates 2 molecules of pyruvate and 2 molecules of acetyl coenzyme A. So the pathway is taking place 2 times, and 1 FADH2 molecule is giving rise to 1.5 molecules of ATP. So 2 FADH2 molecules give rise to 3 molecules of ATP. You know that one cycle of one cycle means citric acid cycle pathway produces 1 FADH2. So when the cycle is taking place 2 times, it is producing 2 FADH2, and 2 into 1.5 is equal to 3 ATP molecules are produced from that. Also, the NADH molecules formed within the mitochondrion each gives rise to 2.5 ATP molecules. That's why wherever you can see 2 NADH, it is producing 5 ATP molecules. When during the electron transport chain, we have not studied that pathway, we will study that pathway in another class only. Keep this slide in your mind. It is a very important question for the examination.
Citric acid cycle is not an isolated event taking place in the cell. Many of the intermediates of the pathway are used for the synthesis of other metabolites which are taking part in other metabolic pathways within the cell. For example, you see citrate is used for fatty acid and steroid synthesis. Alpha ketoglutarate used for synthesis of glutamate and other amino acids. Succinyl-CoA used for synthesis of porphyrins and heme. And oxaloacetate is used for the synthesis of phosphoenol, pyruvate, asparagine, etc., which in turn are used for synthesis of various types of amino acids. PEP is also used for the regeneration of glucose by means of gluconeogenesis. So many of the intermediates of this pathway are withdrawn from the cell and used for the synthesis of other metabolites. Anaplerotic reactions are the reaction pathways taking place in a cell meant for replenishing the metabolites consumed in some reactions. For example, in the previous slide you might have seen that some of the metabolites are consumed for making other products. Here, those metabolites are being replenished, and these reactions are called anaplerotic reactions. How is the citric acid cycle regulated? Formation of acetyl-CoA by means of pyruvate dehydrogenase complex is allosterically regulated. The enzyme is allosterically inhibited by ATP, acetyl-CoA, NADH and fatty acids, while it is allosterically promoted by AMP, coenzyme A, NAD+, calcium 2+ ions, etc. Then you look at the case of citrate synthase and isocitrate dehydrogenase and also alpha ketoglutarate dehydrogenase complex. All these enzymes are allosterically modulated.